All right, it is showtime, folks. It's a Thursday once again, not Friday. It's Thursday, and you know what time it is at Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and/or Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's time for the FusionCast, episode 34, with my co-host, as always, Rebel Blood 80. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing just fine. I'm doing just fine. We have a lot of things going on this week.
Yeah, nothing big, I don't think, that
Nothing,
will
nothing
take forever to talk about. But
earth shattering. Nothing earth shattering, no.
no, bunch of little stuff.
Right.
How about we say that?
Right.
Little bits of lots of little bits of news.
Lots of little bits. Lots of little bits this week. I got my PlayStation Portal in, but we'll talk about that later.
We did.
I finally did, yeah. But we'll talk about that later. We've got a myriad of topics this week to discuss. What would you like to discuss first? Should we get into the Game Awards?
I think we should, since I'm pulling up that list right now.
The Game Awards nominees were announced this week. And some people were upset. Some people were upset about some possible snubs.
Yeah, I don't think I'm too upset about it, because even though I do own both the games that I'm aware of that were snubbed, I haven't played them enough to be like, that game deserves to be in there or it doesn't deserve. But reception around both games was really, really high. So it does appear as though they are snubbing these games in particular. Well, maybe not the second game on my list. Which game do you know as being snubbed by the
I
voters?
I wasn't really super upset about any of the snubs, or so-called snubs. I haven't. I guess let's talk. I mean, I was guessing you talk about Starfield.
No, actually, I
Okay,
don't think
that
that game does not deserve to be in the Game Awards at all. It is not.
that was the one that people were Xbox fans were losing their shit over this week. And the term, did you see the term Xbox tax was trending on Twitter?
Did not. What is the Xbox tax?
So, I guess the Xbox tax is the tax that the game pays when it's on Xbox exclusive, that it's rated a few points lower and it doesn't get the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
No, none of that happened with that game. That game is. It's not bad. It is an average game and does not deserve a single fucking award.
You know what? I mean, I feel like that game probably for a lot of people took too long to get into, probably.
I was just looking at my playtime on the latest games, my most recent games this year, and I'm at like 50 something hours in that game, and I don't care for it. It is not a good. It is okay in certain parts of what you're doing, because it is Bethesda and you're going after that Bethesda feel if you're playing that game. So it does feel like a Bethesda game, but the story did not grip me. It does not deserve any sort of awards this year, in my opinion.
Right.
It might be the game of the year for some people, and it might be the only game that some people bought this year, which is fine. If it's your game of the year, don't let anybody take that away from you. But for me, was far better games released this year. So if the people complaining that was the only game they bought this year, yeah, I could see how they feel snubbed.
Yeah, this year was crazy. Yeah, that was the one of the big snubs that was like trending and people were upset and fighting about. And yeah, I mean, I haven't played it, so I mean, I can't really speak, to its quality or whatever. But I guess the other one I would say is Hogwarts Legacy that didn't
I think that's the bigger
single.
issue.
I think it is too. That game didn't receive a nomination for anything.
Nothing, especially it is an RPG, right? I only played a little bit of it. I thought
you know
it
what the
could.
problem is that every game is an RPG basically.
True.
That's the problem. So like, okay, I'm looking at the nominees for best RPG: Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P.
That's more of an action game than
Right. Starfield and Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars is really good though, but it's not going to win an award because it's an indie game.
See, I would say I would put it over Starfield, but I don't. I think that Starfield is probably more of an RPG than that game is. But I don't.
I own it. I should play more of it before the Game Awards because I don't know what the systems are. I don't even know if there's RPG elements. I saw somebody talking about how it was snubbed, and
There's tons of there's upgrading and stuff in there, but it's I don't know if it's its category would be like an action RPG really.
it definitely is an adventure game.
Yeah.
What do we have in the
Well,
adventure category?
adventure game really I think is like more of those I don't know. I'm thinking like a Telltale type of game. Whereas adventure. So my issue is like I don't know what I would put it into
The best
what
action
category.
adventure game.
Best action adventure game. Okay. Alan
I
Wake.
feel like it was better than Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
I don't know. I didn't play Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
I didn't either. With the amount of troubles people had with that game at launch, and
right.
Hogwarts.
I would discredit that game just for that stuff. All the troubles that game had.
Yeah, you can't say that halfway through the year the game is now playable, so it deserves a Game of the Year award. Get the fuck out of here.
I wouldn't put it above Resident Evil 4, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, or Zelda, but I can't speak on Alan Wake 2 or Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, I can't speak on either one of those, but I would discredit Star Wars just because of the problem. Nobody could play that game at launch.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it completely broken on PC?
Everywhere,
or was it
I
on
believe.
Console?
Yeah,
I think
the Xbox was the place it played best, most stable, from what I recall.
Yeah,
but no,
it has. I would say that it has the best world in it.
Hogwarts does.
I think so.
That's not a.
It's not a category. It's not an award though. Best action game. Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Armored Core, Remnant 2. Okay, it wouldn't belong in any of those categories.
Dead Island 2 is not going to win that award. I think it could do better than Dead Island 2 in that category. Because Dead Island 2 is okay. But it's nothing groundbreaking or amazing.
Yeah, see, I don't know what category you really put that in. The game direction wasn't like, it's not going to win. It's best game direction, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, or Zelda. I don't know if it's...
The game was popular. The game sold a lot.
Oh, I mean, it's one of the best-selling games of the year. I mean, I don't know...
Not the studios, but well, yeah, some studios do vote for a Game of the Year, I believe, don't they? It's a combination of like studios, media outlets, and I think it was one more that I can't remember. But I'm looking at the page right now. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yep.
Another place gave it Game of the Year. Another place gave it 10 out of 10. Game Rant gave it 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
VGC gave it 4.5 stars, and it's not on the list.
Right.
Come on.
I know. No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's political why it didn't get in for
100%.
It's 100% political. But even saying that, I just don't know. It does a lot of things really good, and like I said, the world in there I feel like is like the best like world out of all these games. Really, I mean, maybe just because it's a new world, in a game.
They're doing a disservice just listing 6 games per category though too, because you're essentially saying none of these other games. If a game did not make the top 6 to be voted on, it's not a good game, is what I'm getting.
No, they're not. That's not what they're saying. But they're not going to expand the category all these for 1 year, and then next year they'll be like, oh, this year wasn't good enough, so we couldn't hit. You got to reduce the categories again. I just don't know what any of these categories it would fit in. Like, it does a ton of things great.
Best adaptation.
No, that's I was clicked on that one. That's like TV and movies.
Yeah, you're right. Twisted Metal should win that.
Did
it have a good story? Best narrative?
It's gonna be Last of Us or Mario is gonna win that probably. No, it really didn't. No. I think I just looked at that one. It is definitely not beating Phantom Liberty, probably, right? You haven't. If you played through Phantom
Uh,
Liberty, everybody loves Phantom
I'm
Liberty.
not
It's not going to beat Phantom
done
Liberty.
with it, but
It's
I
a
do love it.
it's 1,000% not beating Final Fantasy 16.
But Phantom Liberty is DLC. It's an expansion. It's not a full game.
Right. It's not beating Spider-Man 2. That was probably one of its weak areas. Was its narrative. It wasn't.
Man,
It wasn't bad. It just
play it.
wasn't like. It wasn't amazing.
Is this game Steam Deck compatible?
Yeah. 100% is. I think it actually runs decent on the Steam Deck from what I saw.
Well, they just brought it on Switch, so I would hope that.
I was surprised. It actually looks fairly. It looks fairly decent on Switch. They did. Looks like they did a pretty good job with that port.
Yeah, but did you see they actually broke up the open world, which was kind of.
Oh, did they? I didn't know. I
thought.
didn't see that. I only seen like some short video clips and some.
It has long load times, and they broke up where you could walk from one point to another in the open world. You now encounter a loading screen at like doors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's fucking 2015 hardware, probably, really. So
it was old hardware even when it was released.
Well, that's why I said 2015. Released in 2017. That's why I'm like, it's 2015 hardware. So yeah, at least they took their time with it. And the port turned out better than Mortal Kombat 1 did.
I don't agree with it. But before we move on to Mortal Kombat 1, there was one final snub that I noticed. And that was Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, really? Okay, that didn't win. Oh, that wasn't even. Yeah, that wasn't in the RPG.
No.
I would put that in there over Liza P. Take Liza P out. That's an action RPG adventure. Take that out of there.
Yeah. I think Sea of Stars needs to stay just because that is such a charming game.
That's an RPG.
I don't think it's going to win, but
right. And even Final Fantasy 16 is in their RPG, just in the name of Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy name, because it's not really an RPG. It's more of that's an action game as well, really.
What would you? How do you?
There's very little role playing elements in that. I mean, like leveling up and.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. That's all you need to say.
Turn-based game, and there's very minimal like leveling and customization in Final Fantasy 16. That was it's one of its weak points.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But yeah, I could not believe when I saw that Octopath 2 wasn't on there because that got really good reviews.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, totally forgot about that.
There's too many good games this year.
Dude, there's way too many
Though
games.
Hogwarts does seem, like we were saying, political and.
Oh, it's 100% political. They could have found
the other games. We could say, okay, yeah, there's just too many games, and all the games for Game of the Year definitely do edge out Starfield.
I was disappointed that F-099 didn't make it into the best sports / racing.
Or is there a multiplayer category too? Because there's.
Oh, best multiplayer. Didn't even see that. It probably didn't get nominated for that either. No. Mario Brothers Wonder made it into that. Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, Diablo, and Baldur's Gate.
I got to be honest. If it was not for the trailers at the Game Awards show, I would not watch it. I never agree with them. Their awards are always biased because they're done by a select few of games journalism, and I almost never agree with them.
Right.
I mean, sometimes they hit the nail on the head because it's like the only game that came out. we had several years of that,
right,
where only a few good games came out, and now we're just overloaded this year. And I don't know. I think their bias is kind of showing here.
What do you think? Let's go through some of these categories. What do you think? If we're going,
we're gonna say who wins?
What do you? Yeah, or say who wins and who would you pick? Game of the Year: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate, Spider-Man, Zelda, Mario Wonder, Resident Evil 4.
Well, I know who you're gonna pick. You're gonna pick Spider-Man 2.
I don't know, really, to be honest with you. I don't think so. Well, I don't want to give away, but I still have to think about this. Who do you think wins?
Who do I
I
think
think
wins?
Baldur's Gate is going to win.
I think hands down Baldur's Gate's gonna win. I don't think it should win because that's not
Nobody played it until Act 3. They only played Act 1. And they were like, this is amazing.
That's a fair point, and it's not an every person kind of game. Not everybody tuning into the Game Awards is going to know what this game is, even though it blew up.
Right.
It is a really good one of those games. It is top tier, and that company has been putting out top tier versions of these CRPG games for years, and it's really good. I just don't see the mass appeal behind it winning, but I think it's going to win because it clicks all the check boxes that the people voting for these are going to be looking for. Because the game itself, I don't think has much to do with winning the award anymore. I think, does it have this, and this?
Yeah.
I think the stuff that game has is going to factor in. But I would not be surprised if Spider-Man 2 beat it. I don't think Legend of Zelda is going to win, or Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah.
And for me,
I think Zelda came out a little. As I say, it came out a little too early, or maybe people already forgot about it, or not forgot, but
that shouldn't affect it, though. You should be able
Right.
to look at the list of games that came out within that year and not judge them by how early they came out in the year to rate them.
I think it's actually a 2-horse race between Zelda and Baldur's Gate. I don't think either of the other ones have a chance of winning.
You don't think Spider-Man?
Nah, I don't think so.
I really do think it's going to be Baldur's Gate. And I don't think it should win.
The only two categories I really care about are best score in music and best performance. And I want Final Fantasy better win at least one of those.
So, what's your choice for game of the year out of that list?
What I would
Not your actual game of the year, because that could very well be different. But what would you choose out of this list?
What would I choose out of this list? Oh man.
Yeah.
I've only played 3 of them.
For me, I think it would be Super Mario Brothers Wonder. That game is
I've only played 3 of them. This is going to be my dilemma in picking a game of the year because
it doesn't
I think
matter.
All of these are they're great to me in a different.
I'm just
way.
asking for your opinion on this list.
What is the best video game in this list?
To you.
To me, I don't know. I don't know. I can't pick, man. This is gonna be like gut wrenching to pick this. I absolutely love.
Think of this as training for when we do our own game.
I know.
Of the year podcast in
I
January.
absolutely love Spider-Man, Zelda, and Resident Evil 4.
All right.
I played
shared
Resident
mine.
Evil,
It's not.
I played Resident Evil 4 and Spider-Man 2 non-stop, and I did take a break a little bit in between Zelda to finish Final Fantasy. So, I mean, I don't know. Do I look at it, weigh that out? Is like, okay, I stopped a little bit, played a different game, whereas Resident Evil 4 and Spider-Man, I played those straight through and didn't touch anything else.
All right. You think about that. You bring your A game when we do our podcast in January.
I'm gonna.
My game may not be
Super
Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It's just I'm choosing that one out of this list.
Yeah. I'm ducking
That
out
would
of
be
that
for
because
me out of this list.
I'm a coward. I'm not gonna be able to choose.
Oh, you're letting me down, man. Okay.
Uh,
What about best game direction?
I don't know.
Who do you think's going to win that?
Are we doing all these awards?
I mean, why not? We could go through it real
Okay.
quick.
Best
Just
game direction? I don't know. Probably it might. I just feel like Baldur's Gate is going to sweep all of these. I feel like.
you know, we say that every year, and it seems like they counter that, and they don't really do any sweeps. I mean, God of War came close, right?
Yeah. I feel
But
like
it didn't
could
sweep
go,
everything.
I feel like you could go with Zelda or Spider-Man on that one, really.
I think Spider-Man's going to win. I think this is the way they're going to work it. They're going to give Game of the Year to Baldur's Gate 3, and then Spider-Man's going to get Best Direction as like a runner-up. Like, hey, here you go, Spider-Man.
Okay.
Best Adaptation, I'm going to have to go with... That's going to be the win for Nintendo, for sure.
Yeah,
That's going to be Nintendo's win.
Or I mean, it could be The Last of Us too, man. I think
that movie was... Super Mario Brothers was so good, though.
It was so good, but I think people that vote on these awards liked The Last of Us TV show more. I don't know.
possibly.
I think it's between either one of those. Best. What do you think for best narrative? You think is going to win Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate, or Alan Wake?
I think it's going to be Alan Wake.
Yeah, I think so too. I would pick Final Fantasy.
I'm guessing on that because I haven't played it. I'm not going to play it until it comes out on Steam. So this is just a total guess, but the way Remedy does their stories, I could see it winning.
Yeah.
All right. What about best art direction? I think this could be another Nintendo win.
That'll go to Hi-Fi Rush.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I think it's going to go to Hi-Fi.
I don't think that game had the...
Or you think Mario is going to win best art direction?
Either Mario or Zelda. I think this is going to be another Nintendo win. I'm leaning towards Mario because of how flashy Mario is.
No, I think that's...
And those flowers are actually cool and not really annoying. Well, they're not cool. They're cute.
That's a... I don't want to go through all these awards. I think that was a... that's an Xbox one. That's a Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think we need to go through audio design, do we?
No, let's hit the big ones.
In best independent game.
Now, actually, there's another controversy here.
With Dave the Diver.
Because, not being an actual indie game, which is kind of bullshit.
Right.
But this has got to go to Dredge. Dredge is hand down the best game on this.
Over Sea of Stars. Cocoon got good ratings, too.
Dredge is awesome.
And people do love Dave the Diver. I think that's pretty popular, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had it in my cart a couple of times. I haven't pulled the trigger on it. But it's been on Steam for a while in early access.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool, but Dredge has got to win this for me. I suppose Cocoon could win it too because it's highly rated. A lot of people were talking about it, but Dredge needs to win this. Or it could win best debut indie game.
Yeah, totally.
That might be Pizza Tower though. Pizza Tower is pretty popular. I don't think we need to do best mobile game. I think that's a waste of space. Action game. Who do you think wins this? You have not played any of these.
Let's see.
Or did you play Hi-Fi Rush?
I did play Hi-Fi Rush for a little bit.
This one, I think it's either going to be Armored Core 6 or Remnant 2. I hope it's Armored Core.
I played the demo for Ghost Runner 2.
Is that any good?
I own the first one. The demo was good, but I don't think. I think that's a Armored Core or Remnant 2.
Remnant 2 just had DLC drop. A little spoiler on what I've been playing. It's that DLC. We already kind of discussed best action adventure. I think that's a Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 or possibly Zelda. If Baldur's Gate 3 wins Game of the Year, it's not going to win Best RPG. I could see that going to Final Fantasy 16.
Oh man, I would like Final Fantasy 16 to win that. I don't think it will.
I'm saying if Baldur's Gate wins Game of the Year, they're not going to give it Best RPG as well.
Well, they might.
I don't think so. I think there's more nuance into these game awards than people realize.
Yeah.
I believe there's give and take behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I think we can call it here after a couple more. Like, what's best fighting game? I think that's going to be Mortal Kombat 1, even though I think Street Fighter 6 should win.
That's Street Fighter 6.
I think Street Fighter 6 has to win, but...
It's going to be Street Fighter 6 for sure.
I read somewhere that there's some bias towards Mortal Kombat 1 somewhere.
Not with the people voting. You got to remember, this is not the general audience. This is like the game reviewers who are
Yeah, that's where I heard the bias was. Some people like Mortal Kombat 1.
I don't think it's going to win.
I hope it doesn't. It really needs to be Street Fighter 6.
Yeah. Best family. You want to do best family? Let's see.
Pikmin 4.
You know it's going to be Mario Wonder. There's no way they're going to give it to Pikmin 4.
It is. It's going to be a Nintendo win, and it's going to be Mario.
That's the Nintendo usually yearly Nintendo award is best family game.
Yeah,
It
I
should,
just like seeing
they should
Pikmin
just
4 on
rename
there.
it. Yeah, totally. They should just rename it though.
Man, Nintendo's taking over the
Esports
best sim
athlete
strategy game too.
is Pikmin in there?
Pikmin's in there.
Oh
Fire
wow.
Emblem,
Oh
Advance
jeez.
Wars.
Yeah, big year. If any of
It's not going to be
a
City
Nintendo game.
Skylines.
Yeah, if this isn't a Nintendo game, then I don't know. But I would say I would go with Pikmin. I would go with Pikmin 4 or Fire Emblem Engage just because Advance Wars 1 2 is kind of like a remaster remake kind of.
Yeah, I hope it's Pikmin 4 needs an award. Award. Give them a
yeah,
award.
it does totally.
You were saying best esports?
The best esports athlete. I was joking.
They do have something like that. Oh, best esports game. Who's your content creator of the year?
Best AR and VR game. I'm gonna go with Gran Turismo 7.
Oh, that game made me sick.
We don't have your VR legs yet, though.
You're right. I may never get them.
I don't think you will. Best content creator.
No.
I don't care about that. Most anticipated game. Let's do that one. That'll be the last one here. Most anticipated game.
Hands down, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, I think for sure. We haven't seen enough of Star Wars Outlaws.
For me, though,
and like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I don't think is big enough to win this.
Oh, that game's big though. That game's gonna be so good.
I mean, it's gonna be. It's not.
It is one of the few games next year that I will be buying day one. Hell, I almost bought it today.
Oh, really?
I was looking at the pre-order for it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna pre-order this game.
Or I could see Hades too pulling out a sleeper win, but I think it's gonna be.
No, I think it's
Final Fantasy. Yeah. So
what needs to be on there is Dragon's Dogma 2. That is the other game that I'm going to be pre-ordering. Even though folks never pre-order games, never ever pre-order games, I'm pre-ordering that game. Which we could segue into our next topic then, which I'll just make Dragon's Dogma 2. Did you hear the announcement?
no, I did not.
Capcom had their quarterly earnings call, and they said that they have an unannounced game releasing next year, about March or so.
Isn't Dragon's Dogma 2 announced though?
It's announced, but people were saying that they're just saying that so that way it kind of diverts attention, that they think Dragon's Dogma 2 gets announced at the Game Awards show to release next March.
But it's been announced though. That's the thing. I
Yeah,
don't think they would just say that just to be like. They're not.
It's got to be a game they're already working on though to be released next March. It's not something unknown to us, right?
They're not. I don't think they're going to lie to the investors. That's my only thing. If it was like to the media,
I don't think it was a lie either.
Well, I mean, if they say it's not announced and it's already been announced, it's kind of a lie.
Then the release date wasn't announced,
Right,
so that
but
makes
they
it not
said-
a lie.
They said an unannounced game. It's been announced though.
Well, I don't know if I'm quoting it right. Remember, I watched this video way earlier today that I'm getting this news
You don't
from,
think
so.
it's Monster Hunter World 2?
No,
Really?
no, it's got to be a game that they've had in production for a while, that we've seen snippets about here and there, because they're just not going to plop that game out.
What about RE9?
No. What they need to do is they need to go back and give Code Veronica the 2, 3, and 4 treatment.
All right. Well, we're gonna bookmark this and see who's right here.
We'll know at the Game Awards, because I think that's where that game's getting announced.
Okay. We'll know then shortly.
Yeah. If I wasn't working, I would be able to take notes. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a little notepad, and as I listen to this stuff...
December 7th, though, no? Or is
It's
December
right at the
8th?
beginning of December, which is kind of bogus for the games that come out. Like, no games released in November are qualify for the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah, it's a Thursday, yeah. It's going to be
Yeah.
like 5 hours long.
Should we do our podcast and cover it live?
No, we'll go with the winners the following day, probably. Because everybody's
Okay.
going to be watching that.
You're just no fun, man.
Everybody's going to be watching that, so... let's see. We got a couple of games that are blocking paid content. What do you think?
I think that is So EA Online Pass era bullshit.
Yeah.
DLC on the disc bullshit.
Let's see.
Some of it might be an error or an
You talked about Mortal Kombat, so today, like for at least for Fortnite, there was an update that added like a lot of added ratings to all these different their different game modes. And some of the game modes in Fortnite Creative, where you can kind of like create your own like type of game, and then they'll put it up like on like the playlist board to play, are like E for everyone, I believe, or and it blocks some of your skins that you bought, some of your backpacks with like knives or guns on them to use in those modes, and it even blocks like some of your loading screens if you have any of them with like knives or guns on them.
yeah, that's bullshit.
So I mean, like you could pay for this content that you could use before in certain modes, but now all of a sudden you can't use them in certain modes. So that's kind of like a really slippery slope to be like, if you have content that any day, I mean, we know that that could happen, but it's just like kind of like the first time, at least I've seen it, where paid content you had in a game, they just blocked it out.
Is it done on purpose
Yes.
or is it
Yeah, yeah.
100%
No,
on
it's
purpose?
100% on purpose, yeah. Because even, okay, so they added something for the Game Awards where like you can travel at the Game Awards playlist where you travel to some island or something like that, and the Game Awards playlist is like an everyone playlist. It's like 10 and above maybe, and some of the skins in the game are locked out of using in that mode.
That is bullshit.
Because you can go to your locker where all your skins are, and it'll have like a big exclamation point, like this skin is blocked from being used in this mode.
It could have something to do with licensing, though, too.
No, I mean it's literally them putting in the age rating stuff because they want kids to be playing certain game modes. Basically, it doesn't have anything to do with there's it. This is it's on non-licensed skins too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you can't take McBooberson
into like a
with all her cleavage into something where kids play.
right. Yeah.
So
See,
they're
so they
like
put like
segregating
they
that.
segregated the playlists and put like age appropriate ratings on different playlists. So like the Fortnite Battle Royale, the main mode has like I think it's a teen rating, so like everything works in that. But like some of the creative stuff where like you would create your own game types, like you can be locked, your stuff can be locked out of those modes. I don't think it's a big. I never play any of those, so it doesn't really affect me at all. But it's like I said, it's a slippery slope type thing where
It is. I can see where it's okay for like the competitive stuff to kind of like keep the kids separated from the adults and maybe sell more racy skins or more violent skins,
well, they're not
stuff
keeping
like
the
that.
kids separated because kids can play it if they want. It's just like
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
true too.
right.
But to lock you out of that stuff in your creative mode is kind of bullshit.
it's it's more of just like now I think you can do stuff in creative and make it like for certain ages. I think it's actually just like legal stuff to where they don't, oh, kids can be playing, you know, this type of mode with this type of look at this guy's got a gun in this mode. I think it's 100% like, you know, legal bullshit basically. So
Yeah.
I saw that today.
Where
It did
my
some digging
story
around, and I was like, yeah, this kind of sucks, but it doesn't affect me, but it could one day.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. Just because I said I could understand it, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
You should have all your stuff available to you at all times. Even when the servers go down, let me download it and play it offline. But that's just the retro gamer in me. Mortal Kombat 1 though, I could see it getting patched out because I think the uproar is beginning. I don't know. I haven't read too much on it. I just watched a couple videos on it last night, early this morning, and apparently, it was confirmed on the PC version, and there might be confirmation on the console version that if you're playing and you unlocked skins or fatalities, which is another stupid fucking story. Did you see that fatality for sale?
The one for $10, the Halloween one.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty.
That's very shitty. Now they're
Yeah.
giving away 2 additional fatalities if you bought that.
Oh yeah,
But
as a looks like a make good.
yeah, but if you bought those skins and you were playing locally and you were player 2, you would not have access to the skins you bought. That sounds like it might maybe be like a glitch or something like that to me. I haven't read if it's particularly maliciously done on NetherRealm's part, but it could also happen if you're playing like Steam has a remote play where you could log on with your computer and at certain games you could play over the internet with me as though we were playing couch co-op, so it doesn't need online multiplayer. Am I making sense to you?
Yeah, totally.
And you would get locked out of it doing that stuff too. Locked out of your own content that you paid money for. I guess that's the theme of this week's podcast.
Yeah, locked out content.
Content and lockdown.
That's kind of gross.
Yeah, very gross. I kind of wish I had the game to see it and experiment with it, but I'm also glad at the same time that I don't have that shit show of a game, which goes to show how crappy Warner Brothers is been, becoming, and going to continue to be because of their forcing games as a service and microtransactions.
Right, totally.
Because it got announced in kind of like a behind-the-scenes documentary today. That well, it might have been yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, go ahead.
Suicide Squad documentary where they're like, oh yeah, like games as a service stuff is still coming to the game. When they kind of made it seem like they were delaying the game to kind of work that stuff out of the game.
I knew they weren't going to. You can't do that in 6 months, where you'd redo your whole like progression system and stuff.
No, so you know what that tells me? That tells me that they took this 6 months to work it out enough that it will launch without that stuff in it to get those initial sales, and then a month after the game's out or 2 months, however it generally is, they're going to be like, oh, bam, look, you can buy skins now, and the games as service stuff is live.
Right, totally.
Which I'm still on the fence about that game. Parts of it look bad to me. Parts of it remind me of Marvel's Avengers, and then other parts I'm like, it is rock steady, and they make really good games.
I think it's gonna be better than Marvel's Avengers.
Oh, 100%. The videos look better, but they just remind me of. You play Marvel Avengers?
Yeah, I beat it, and I played some of the end game stuff. Like I didn't. Did they ever release the freaking raid for that? I never played that, but the problem with that is like you got gear, but it was not interesting. It was not cool. It didn't change your appearance. It didn't change your like weapons. It just changed like.
Because they got to sell you those skins, which is the same
sell
road that
skins. Yeah.
Suicide Squad is going down. They're going to sell you skins, so you're not going to. And it's a looter shooter too, so you're going to have gear that doesn't impact anything other than make number go higher. But the enemies also go higher in level, so it doesn't really matter.
Did you see that in the video for sure?
I thought I heard it mentioned somewhere. I didn't see it in the video.
Okay. Yes,
but
so
I thought
then that's an issue. Yeah, if they do it like Marvel's Avengers, then that's a big boo boo, because that kind of messed with a lot of the stickiness of the game. Like it was like, okay, this is boring. This loot, I don't care about the loot because it really doesn't do, it doesn't change it as much as like if we're playing Destiny.
And I've been playing for the past couple of days Marvel's Avengers on Steam because it is eventually going to be taken down for good, and you're not going to be able to play it. Because it's no longer for sale. They discontinued service supporting the game on September 30th. So
right,
the way the game is now,
free on there, like everything.
Yeah, I mean, I logged in and it's like, oh yeah, you got all these extra characters and you got all the outfits and everything, but the game is still not fun.
Right,
I'm just playing through it to have the achievements on my Steam account, I guess.
Yeah.
when I should actually be playing Cyberpunk. So, what else? What more news do you have, sir?
I got a special delivery today.
Did you?
I did.
It
That
wasn't hijacked?
it was not hijacked, and that is the PlayStation Portal. It was supposed to come out yesterday, but I think Sony handed it over too late to UPS, and it got delayed till today between 2:45, 5:45. Then it got delayed again until sometime between around 7, but actually did come around like 5:45, 6 o'clock.
So the UPS driver was just kind of testing it out for you.
He
Make
was,
sure it
yeah,
worked.
he was playing around with it.
Did he charge it for you at least?
It was mostly charged, but you had to download an update, plugged it in. So, yeah, it was mostly charged. Impressions so far. The screen is really nice on that thing. Really nice 1080p LCD screen.
No HDR, or does it have HDR?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think it has HDR. I thought I saw that because the PlayStation 5 has HDR, so you would expect that screen to have HDR.
I don't know.
Let's do it.
I'm not positive on that. The thumbsticks are tiny. We know that they're small. They're not as small as the PSVR 2 ones, but they're somewhere in between that and the DualSense ones. I would say they're close to the Xbox Series controller's thumbstick size.
I did see those. They were smaller. That kind of threw me for a loop. Is there a reason why they're smaller, or is it just fit on the device better because they're smaller?
Probably it just fits on the device better because it's smaller. I like the LED that goes around the controller, the lights. When I was playing the Crew Motorsport, it got like neon yellow, neon pink. It was pretty cool. So far, it's been hit and miss though with the device in my early testing.
Really?
It worked flawlessly in my bedroom upstairs, and the Spider-Man looked great. There is a hair delay in it. I mean, you're streaming, so. But I was
Yeah, I
totally
did
able to
see
play.
that it was gonna. That would be an issue with shooters. New Call of Duty would be a problem playing that.
I had no problem playing Fortnite. I actually played Fortnite and had no problem with it. Played no problem playing Spider-Man. It's a hair delay, but you get used to it. It's a hair delay, not a problem. It ran great upstairs in my bedroom. I came downstairs in my living room and I noticed the image quality take a slight hit, and I got in a race in the Crew, and it was roboted, and I started to lose connection. I'm like, oh, that's not good. But then I went downstairs in front of my PS5, and it was fine. It worked great. I was explaining this to my wife what it was because my kid's he sees this thing. He's like, I want the PlayStation Portal. I want it. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know what this is. And so once he kind of found out what it is, he doesn't want it. And I was explaining to my wife what this is. I'm like, it's not like the Switch where the Switch actually plays the game on the Switch. It streams it. It's like, oh, that's kind of stupid. So you can't play this in the car? She's like, well, that's kind of stupid. And I'm like, She's like, it's kind of like a controller. I'm like,
Not only can you not play it in the car, you cannot go to Starbucks and play it at Starbucks, nor can you go to a hotel and play it off of hotel Wi-Fi.
You can go to Starbucks and play it at Starbucks. The guy who reviewed it at IGN said he played it at Starbucks.
No, he said he tried, but he couldn't go access the terms of service.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Was that from the IGN one or no?
I believe it was IGN. It was in that video I sent you that you got mad at me about.
I wasn't listening to River from Review Tech.
The IGN gives us an 8 out of 10, but who is this for?
He was at a coffee shop. I thought he said coffee shop and not a Starbucks. You just have to be you just have to be at one of those places that have web browser. Internet is not going to work, where you have to connect through a web browser.
Yes.
Which is not a good experience usually anyways. Target, when I was at Target before, you don't have to connect through a web browser. I was able to do remote play through that. But like, I'm gonna use this for me 90% of the time, 95% of the time at home. The other
All right.
5% would be like when we go on vacation, if we have Wi-Fi at like our house that we're renting or whatever, which we usually do, depending on the signal. So I'm still up in the air. I still need to test it and have it a little bit more before I decide what I'm going to do with it.
I still think there's going to be a lot of returns come next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think there's a lot of people that picked this thing up thinking that it was
100%,
a Steam Deck or
100%.
Switch.
Yeah.
A lot of, like you said, your kid wanted it, not knowing fully what it was.
Right.
A lot of grandmas and grandpas are going to be going out and buying this thing for Christmas. That's going to be the real bummer because they're getting it now, right? And then they're going to open it up on Christmas, and it's not going to be what you thought it was at Christmas.
And he asked my mother-in-law for Christmas, and see, his PS5 is upstairs and it's not hardwired. It's on Wi-Fi.
That's going to slow it down even more.
Right. But like I've heard mixed. Some people say it doesn't work well for them. I could put them on the subreddit. Some people said it's not worked well. Some people it's flawlessly. I mean, when it does work really well, it's a great experience. Like I said, it's a beautiful screen. There's very minimal like input lag to where it's like I mean, you can play whatever you want really with it. And I actually, before the podcast, I played a match of Street Fighter with it. It was doing Hadoukens and the supers, no problem. Beat the computer. But then, like once I went upstairs in my living room, and I have like one of those a mesh system with like a second node. I might have to get another node. And like it died out like right before dinner with when I was playing the Crew Motorsport. So yeah, my son's like, it's a little glitchy because I hooked it. He was all sour dicked about it, and I hooked it up to his PS5 so he could play it. And I'm like, just test it out, go around, and it took him a while to figure out what it was, and I'm trying to explain it to him. He didn't get it, and I'm like, dude, look, it is controlling your PS5. There is nothing here. This is your PS5. It's just the screen is being shot over here. So. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want it anymore. I'm glad Gigi couldn't find it. So.
I think hype is going to die off for this thing pretty damn quick.
We'll see. It's not a console. So, like, if you're like, oh, it's going to exit a tank. I'm like, it's an accessory. It's a controller, basically.
I've been saying that all along. It's a peripheral.
It is. So it's not like they probably make a good amount of money on this thing, probably, at $200. So, like, I think it's going to do better than the PlayStation VR 2, to be honest with you.
I can see it doing better than that, especially since people have the misconception about it. It's going to sell because of the misconception. Then there's going to be people out there that generally want it.
Right.
And have a use case for it, like you. But then there's people like me. The one place I would use it is in my bedroom. But I've already got my Steam Deck in there, and I've got my Nintendo Switch.
Right. And, like, I don't have a huge use case for it. Like, I don't know. It's not going to be like I'm going to be playing it all the time.
I'm glad you bought it and reviewed it.
Right.
Or are going to review it.
Yeah. I need to spend more time with it. I got to go to Starbucks and see how this... I want to see how this performs outside of the house. We're going to stop by your house tomorrow or Saturday, and we'll give it a shot on your internet going to my house.
Oh, we might be here a while. I don't always remember my Wi-Fi password.
Uh-oh. Well, you better start digging around and figure it out.
It is...
Why don't you just tell everybody what your Wi-Fi password is over the internet?
It's an ancient ritual of sacrificing small animals.
It's to be determined. We'll see. Too early to tell about it. Do I want to invest in another Wi-Fi node for my house mesh system? Not really. It plays great in the same room as my PS5 and where my router's at.
Yeah, my Steam Deck does the same thing, playing from my PC.
Yeah.
But then I go to my bedroom and it gets a little iffy because the Wi-Fi is a little iffy in my bedroom.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not in your home. It's not really about the your internet speed. It's really about how well good your router is, really.
Router and the strength of the Wi-Fi that
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
laying across your house, and whether or not
Right.
you have neighbors close enough that their Wi-Fi is competing with your Wi-Fi, which is my problem.
Yeah.
I've got too many neighbors and too close.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. This is going to be an ongoing process to see how much I like it. But
Speaking of
like,
portable devices,
oh, the Steam.
I almost got an OLED.
Oh, almost. Uh-oh.
I had it in my cart,
The
and I was on the final page to buy it, and I clicked buy, and it froze, and then I went back into it, and it said they were sold out. I was kind of mad.
Oh man.
But I'm also kind of glad because I don't need the damn thing.
Yeah.
I only wanted it because it had red highlights. Even though I look at it now and it says they have some to sell, so people must have canceled their orders.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw what for the limited edition one or just the regular?
Yeah, I only wanted the limited edition.
Oh, okay. So that one's still available?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, wow. I saw that the regular OLED was still available. I'm like, oh man, that must not have been a huge seller, or they have a lot of them.
I'm willing to bet that they've got a decent amount of those, but the limited edition was supposed to be extremely limited, and I was trying to get it.
Huh.
And I don't know, maybe I could try now. See what happens. Some people might have got their order canceled though too, because you had to have bought a game before November in order to be able to buy it.
Right. Which is a good system. I like how they did that. In order to kind
Yeah,
of like
I thought I was
going to
have a decent chance. Oh, it's letting me put in my payment stuff.
Oh wow.
I don't know. I shouldn't do it. I'm not going to buy it. But apparently there's limited edition ones out there still.
All right, cool. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the whole Portal situation goes. If I end up giving it a good review and thumbs up, and I want to keep it, I'm gonna test the hell out of it this next week and weekend and see.
But what are you really testing? You're not.
Well, I'm gonna test it a lot more throughout my house and see how well it runs. And I'm gonna go outside the house and see if I can play it at Starbucks. And yeah, then I'll make a decision on if I want to keep it or not. See how much I use it in the next week. I gotta see what the return policy is, but I probably will end up keeping it because as like the overall like quality of the device, I do kind of like it.
That is one thing people are saying. It's built really solid.
Yeah. It is nice build quality. Like the screen is so nice, man. When it's a nice clear picture, nice stream. It looks beautiful. I thought Spider-Man looked beautiful on it. Same with the Crew. So, like I said, it's going to be a device that's probably going to be hit or miss for a lot of people. I never had problems. I didn't play a lot of remote play, but I connected it for a short amount of time in the house, and it worked fine. But like, I didn't play it for very long though. So, expect a review this weekend of the device.
I will keep my eyes peeled.
All right. Speaking of that, I am done for the night. I'm going to go play my Portal in bed.
You haven't been playing anything?
Oh, we'll get to it next week. It's already too late. Not really.
Yeah, it is.
So
we went on pretty long.
We went on for long for the Game Awards section, so nothing they can't wait. Nothing new, so. Let's reconvene this time. We're not going to be doing it on Turkey Day next weekend. We'll do it probably next Friday. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Since it is Thanksgiving in the old U.S. next weekend.
Friday sounds good to me.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We will see you guys next Friday for Rebel Blood 80. I'm Fusion 64. We will see you guys next week. Thank you.
Adios.